Hey everyone, Daryl Eves here, and I am super excited for today because we're going to talk all things YouTube, and we're going to talk about growth strategies here on YouTube, and I'm going to give you some tips and advice that's really going to help you really start getting found on YouTube and growing a massive audience. Now, here's the thing. I have been doing YouTube for a very long time. I've been on YouTube since 2005, and I've seen the ins and outs and the sideways. What I'm going to try to do today is really try to simplify the process for you, because as I work with creators, as I work with brands, as I work with people, I find that people try to overcomplicate it, and they're focusing in on the wrong thing. And my goal for this live stream is to help you start seeing it a little bit more simple and having actionable steps. And then also in this live stream, I'm going to actually do some Q&A. That'll be kind of at the end of the video. And then also we're going to be pulling people on. So how am I going to know that you're actually on here? You got to share this video, put it on Twitter. Let me know that you'd be willing for an interview, and I'll start selecting that very, very soon as we go through it. Now, some of you actually have bought my book, The YouTube Formula. It's a great book, great read. If you bought the book, put it in the comments. I know there's a few of you in some remote countries that haven't received it yet. I promise you everything's been shipped, and we're trying to get that to you as fast as we can. And so what I do believe, though, is this year is the year of YouTube. I do. And this year is going to give a lot of opportunity, a lot of people to really elevate their presence online and really start going after the new audiences that are waiting to see your videos. And what we're going to do is really focus in on understanding YouTube and then start breaking it down on some actionable steps that you can take. Now, when I first create an idea or a plan for a YouTube channel, I don't make any content. I look very deeply at content that would resonate with people, but more importantly, I focus in on the viewer avatar. So what a viewer avatar is basically the ideal viewer for your type of content. And I know a lot of creators on YouTube struggle sometimes of understanding who wants to watch their stuff. And then you have other creators that struggle as well, that basically make the content for them, but they expect it to go out to the world when they're their own audience. You know, if they're only making it for themselves and they're not really looking to bring value to someone as a viewer, then don't expect more than one view. Maybe you might do two, because you might watch it twice, right? As a creator. And so when I start breaking down what I need to do for a channel, I always figure out who are we making content for? And I want to deep dive into this. If you're wanting to deep dive into this, we're going to do this. I'm going to pull up kind of like a little screen here. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to kind of deep dive into this and really have a good understanding of what's actually happening here. Let me see if I can get it to go to the next slide. There we go. Okay, so to understand the viewer, we got to understand what YouTube's looking at. So when we look at the goals of YouTube, that helps us accomplish and be in line with their goals and be able to really broaden. And so what YouTube wants to do is predict what the viewer will watch. So the whole reason why YouTube exists is because they want to make money. And if they predict what viewers want to watch, people will come back more to the platform and they're going to make more money. And so this is something that the algorithm does. They also want viewers to stay on the platform for longer. You know, not just for one video, but they want them to dedicate some time in consuming some content. Also, they want to maximize long-term viewer engagement. And this is one where the loyalty factor comes in, you know, so they're predicting what people want to watch. That's great. You can get the videos that you want to consume, right? And we want to keep the viewer on the platform longer which is great because that makes YouTube more money, that makes you more money. And then ultimately down to the last part of it is they want them to come back over and over and over again to really engage with video content. Now, that being said, I want to really define the AI. And, you might have seen this before and it's been discussed, but I want to really drive home on this because this is like the tip to really succeed is to really understand who you're creating your content for. So the YouTube AI basically just follows the audience. It follows the viewer. And it looks very specifically at these goals to do that. Okay, so they want to figure out that what it is, so they know exactly what to show them, what not to show them, and basically get them to stay in the rabbit hole, stay on YouTube for a very long time. So today, as we're watching this video, there's 75% of all views come when YouTube actually finds the right video for the right viewer. Okay, that's called YouTube recommendations. You can get it through the browse feature, which is homepage, subscription feed. You also get it through suggested videos. If you're watching on desktop, it's those videos on the right-hand side. If you're watching on mobile, it's the videos down below. And basically all the views that happen, 75% of them today actually happens when the AI finds the audience for you, okay? Now, I want to deep dive into the viewer's relationship. I think it's really important that we really define the viewer itself, and it should help you really understand how to make better content, how to engage that viewer so that you're bringing them value. I break it down in a couple ways. One is to really understand why do they love coming onto YouTube? What's the reason why they're spending so much time on YouTube? And so I want to kind of break this down. This came through a very extensive survey that we've been doing for years of really trying to understand the mindset of people of why they come to YouTube. So the first thing is they're able to relax and unwind. A lot of people come and they want to just de-stress from work or de-stress from the world. And also they might come to YouTube to learn something, and YouTube gives you the ability to learn so much. You can learn programming from MIT. You can learn social studies from Stanford. There's a lot of great content out there. And then two, there's a lot of great educators out there like Mark Rober that's teaching science principles, but in a fun way. Also, they come to YouTube to dig deeper into their interests. If they really want to really dig down and learn something or their hobby, they want to get the very most important information out, which is going down the rabbit hole, going deeper and deeper and deeper into this. Okay, so next is they want videos to make them laugh. And I think we all fall in this category. We're all sharing videos that make us laugh, or sharing and tagging it to people from there. Then this other one kind of relates with one earlier, but it's like, when they're passionate about something, they're going to be watching videos that's related to their passion. That's where their time is. Next, that is inspiring. They basically want to find videos that will inspire them to be a better person, to be a better, entrepreneur or creator or whatever. And so as you're understanding why people love videos on YouTube, it gives you an idea of how to bring that value, right? Okay, going on to the next one. This one is related to the first one, but the world that we're living in the last couple of years has been pretty chaotic, and a lot of people now are using it to just kind of forget, get into their own little bubble, and go from there. Next is people stay informed, like the news and the information and what's going deeper dives into what's happening around the world. There's a lot of channels that do that as well. Then also, people watch because there's social issues that are impacting them, and they're coming to consume those social videos that would help them have a better understanding, or some material to help share and spread, some social issues and the way that they engage. And this one actually went up quite dramatically over the last 4 years, almost 4.5 years. It's a big opportunity here on YouTube. They're also looking for high production quality. There's people that can't go to the movie theaters but want the high production quality. They want it in bite-sized pieces. You're able to get that as well. And then last is to help them be more efficient. And there's so many people looking for hacks and strategies to become better in wherever they're at. And that's really, really important that we look at why do people come onto YouTube. Now, you might have some other reasons why people come onto YouTube. I'd love to hear it. Put it in the comments. Let's have this be a little bit more interactive. Also, I want you guys to tweet this, and I'm going to be pulling people on at the end of the live stream and do some in-depth Q&A. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so this last one is, they just love the network that they're on, which is YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Okay, so I wrote a full chapter in this book on, finding your audience. And it's probably one of the most in-depth ones that I've done. And it's actually, I think it has the most pages in, it's chapter 11. Like you can see that, right? There we go. Chapter 11. And I try to break it down in a way that you can consume it, because I think when a lot of content creators come on and brands come on, they think about the content and they don't give much thought into the viewer. And so what I want to do is to help you really start understanding the things that you need to start anticipating to really go in depth. And I'm telling you, chapter 11, if I would say, is there one chapter that you should read and reread over? It's 100% chapter 11, because it's all about people and it's all about bringing them value. It's all about understanding who your audience is. Now, yesterday, I just got another one of these. Check this out. Yeah, got another go play button here. And the cool thing about it is, and let me pull this off here. The cool thing about this is, when it comes to audiences, when you understand who you're communicating with, you're understanding why they're coming onto the platform, and you're providing that value that they're not only going to watch one video, but multiple videos. That's really creating that engine that will trigger the algorithm to go find more people like them. And so I'm very, very protective of who watches my content. I just said in a tweet not too long ago that I would rather only have 10 views versus 10,000 views, as long as those 10 views are the right viewer. And I do believe that. And I know that a lot of people, they look at the view as the vanity metrics of how effective the video is. But for me, I would rather have 100% of the right people watching the video. And the reason why is you can actually see growth. Now, let me pull up something. This is a brand new channel that we started at the beginning of the year, and I'll just bring up the post here. Let me pull this, and I'll just put it in the slideshow. That'll be easy. Give me 1 second here, guys. Gonna love the live interaction. But you'll enjoy this, because this is every year we start a brand new YouTube channel, and two actually, and we work with two channels where we partner up. But let me go back and get this going for you. Okay, ready? There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let me share my screen here. But I want to kind of explain the process of getting the right type of viewer. And I think a lot of people get really, really, really obsessed with, finding the right type of viewer. Let me pull this a little bit bigger. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the top half is when we launched the channel. So we launched it January 13th, and we released one video. Now, the first video that we released, the strategy was that first video was to go after search. We knew the search volume was high, and we knew that if we actually put that out there, that it would drive some new views based off of the freshness factor that YouTube has. Okay. And YouTube will always promote the brand new stuff. And so we made sure for a fact that we actually had the best banger title and thumbnail out there. because we knew that we only had one shot for this. And as you can see, we got 72 views. But one thing that I want you to know is we did not put this on social. We did not put that out there. It was just a brand new YouTube channel. We had one video and we uploaded it, and we knew that we could get some views from search. So when we actually put our focus in on that title and thumbnail, we knew that they'd be finding some search. And so we basically did some recon and research beforehand to see what our competition looked like so that we could actually make ours really, really stand out. And we spent days coming up with the right type of strategy for this. And because we knew that the traffic coming in were our ideal viewer, okay? What they didn't know is they didn't know how good the content was. And so they clicked on it, they watched it, and guess what happened, guys? We had 82% of the people start the video, finish the video. So what is YouTube gonna do? YouTube's gonna promote it, right? But you gotta realize, brand new YouTube channel, small sample size. It takes a little bit of time for YouTube to really define who your audience is. And it takes a lot of consistency of doing it next. So what we did next was, doing the second video. Now, the second video, I can honestly say that we did nothing to try to have that be in search. But we actually looked at it from the viewer's perspective. Those people that find us in search, when they watch the video and get all the way to the end, we wanted to be able to have something so enticing for them to watch that they'd have to click on it. And all those views, subsequent views were coming from YouTube recommending it to those 72 people that watched the video in the first place. Okay, so what we had was 72 people that consumed it through searched, and then we released the next one in 2 days after that. And they not only saw it in search, we had new traffic coming through search, but the other video that launched was being showcased on the homepage for those 72 people, and also as a recommended video for the new people that are coming in. And as we did this over and over again, there would be a time or two we would focus in on search, but our whole goal was getting people to do what? Find what they're looking for. Okay, that's really important. And then stay on the platform longer. And what I wanted to do is not only to get one view out of them, and I wanted them to go back and watch it over and over and over again, or watch video after video after video. Now, this is what I do believe, and this is where I get misunderstood sometimes. I could care less about search overall. And I do care for it very specifically for certain videos, but my goal is to get YouTube to start recommending my content, where the viewer is found by the AI, where the AI shows them my video. Why? Because that's where 75% of all views happen today on YouTube, is when that happens. And that's when you have massive growth. Now, I'm not downplaying search. Search is great. Search can be predictable. But if I'm going to hammer every single video after search, that's called insanity. Insanity. And you're thinking, wait, wait. I have an educational, that's the only thing. Well, no, I don't believe that, because I've literally built out educational channels that would have a couple videos that are searched, but pretty much 70% of all their traffic right now are coming from when YouTube recommends it to the right type of people. So don't be locked in to your viewing relationship of, okay, they're just going to find value in a video, because what I'm trying to do is know the viewer so well, I'm trying to anticipate what they'd watch next. And that's the video that I'm creating. And you can see from this little lovely little graph, you can see the first video, but here's where at as of today. Look at the bump. There's hardly any bump there. We're starting to grow. And the cool thing about it is, not once did we promote this in any way outside of having the AI understanding who likes our content. And then for us, making the best title, the best thumbnail, the best hook to pull them into the content, because that's what it's all about. Literally, that's what it's all about. And so getting back to this, I want you to understand, let me go back to, I want you to understand the viewer in the lens that I look through. And when we we're getting ready to start another YouTube channel, we do 2 a year. I spent, probably 3 months really trying to figure out who the viewer is. And I know that a lot of you can't wait that long, and I get it, but I can afford to do this way. It's like really trying to understand who the viewer is. And so we're looking to launch that channel. Like we start one at the beginning of the year and the middle of the year. So we're getting close to start that channel up. And I'm really, really excited about it because, I'm understanding the viewer a lot more. Now, what do I actually look at when I'm, considering the viewer? Well, it comes back down to this: demographics. And I think a lot of people in the space, they just view this as, hey, this is who the viewer is. So that would be, their age, their sex, and where they live, right? And that's something that they do. And, for me, this is important right out of the gate. And all we're doing is making assumptions. Like, we're just assuming this is who they are, right? And I like to start creating an understanding of what they look like and so on. But demographics is easy, and it's easy to validate because YouTube gives us that data after, they consume the content. But I'm very, very protective of this. And I do believe that when you misread your demographics, that's going to hurt you quite a bit because you're making assumptions where it's at. So you have to have a way to validate it. Even though that it says it in YouTube analytics, doesn't make it so. There's a lot of content out there that kids use their mom account and it skews it. And everybody thinks, oh no, my content's for older people. And I'm like, really? Because this shows that it's a high number of people that are coming when they're using their mommy or dad's account when they're watching your content. And as we break it down and I show them how to do it in analytics, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see this. Okay. So moving on to the next one, which would be the psychographics. This is where I geek out. I literally geek out on this, and I can tell you why. Like the psychographics is, I find, the most impactful way to bring value to somebody when you understand their psyche. Okay. And for those that didn't know, but I've been obsessed with why people watch certain types of content. Back in the book, I shared an experience where I thought I was going to make Super Bowl commercials for a living. I was 10 years old. And that's what I wanted to do, is make Super Bowl commercials, and so I would really start doing survey of what type of people like what type of ad on the Super Bowl. And I found, hey, there's some psychographics, similarities between the people that are like gravitated towards certain type of content. And so the psychographics is super, super, super important. And the reason why is it helps you understand the trigger points. It helps you understand how to bring them closer to you and feel like, hey, you're speaking for them, or you're speaking at them, or you're speaking, on something that they're really passionate about and they can get behind. I 100%, even to this day, when I'm involved in a project, I'm always looking at this demographic, or I'm sorry, at this the psychographics. And the reason why is it could change. I've seen a lot of creators come in and they start changing their content a little bit, or they appeal to a different type of video that's engaging with people. And different people are watching it for different reasons. And if you remember the earlier slides of why people come onto YouTube and all the different ways that we've surveyed, that really helps you understand this. So breaking down, the age, the sex, and the geography of where they're actually coming from, that's great. I would even take it deeper, where you're not just United States, but see, which states are actually consuming the bulk of your content. So it'd probably be, Texas or California, Texas, Florida, New York is your top 3 or 4, you know what I'm saying? And you want to be able to understand kind of their situation. It could be in metropolitan cities. You can break it down to see, okay, where is that happening? And when you understand that, you can start understanding what they're doing psychographically because of the situation that they're in. And then 2, this is where you make a ton of hypothesis about who they are. And I try to just wrap my mind around it. I try to really define who that is. And that leads us to, their behavior. And when you understand their psyche, it leads to their behavior of what they do online. And, the places that they go. You can see the social media platforms that they love. the blogs and news, what they're engaged with. This is really, really important. And I think a lot of creators just kind of gloss over this, and they're missing the behavioral patterns of it. The next one is what they do offline. So understanding what they do online, what they do offline gives us a better appreciation for who these people are and what they're going through. And I can tell you, I'm literally deep diving into this, and I'm trying to make these assumptions and see if I can validate them. Because the more that I can do that, the more that I can actually anticipate who the people are, I can bring value to them, that it does connect. And if I bring enough of them together, then YouTube has to promote. It'll go out and find the audience for me. And so this is, it's like totally tough to do. And especially for new channels, like this is very, very difficult to do. But that's where the book comes in, and we talk about recon and research. Like you can find other channels that are out there that already have content, that already have viewers, that already have subscribers, that they already have comments. Like I would be really deep diving into that and trying to understand the psyche of those individuals and what they do online and offline. So this being said, this is, this is where I geek out 100% of the time. I love it, is because once you understand the viewer, that's where everything changes. Because you're not trying to force things to happen. You're just trying to make the best possible presentation to the viewer of what they're expecting. And you're bringing value to them. You're bringing that unique value to them. And so my question to you, those that are here on the live stream, put it in the comments. How much time do you think of the viewer when you're making your videos? How much time do you go through the process of understanding how they'll receive your videos based off of your content? I really would love to know that. Put it in the comments, because this right here is super, super valuable. It's super valuable, because this, once you understand who you're making content for, it elevates it. And then when YouTube does its thing, it's going to go through the process. And I'm going to talk to you about this in detail. It's like YouTube really starts to define, oh, this content resonates with these people that have the same patterns that watch these other videos. So let's suggest this video to them. And that's how you're able to really grow. So for me, understanding why people come on the platform and who they are, and making assumptions of how I can bring value, it increases my probability of actually having more success on YouTube. That's where it's at. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed why they do things. And I'm obsessed why some videos resonate better than other videos. You can see any of my students in Channel Jumpstart that I mentor, they know, like I deep dive into it. Sometimes we're having in-depth discussions where we're trying to understand the viewer. In fact, we were actually at a retreat. I do these personal retreats sometimes. And, I was in San Diego with a client. We sat down. All of day one was trying to understand the viewer and trying to understand, who they are, their psyche, what they do online, what they do offline. And after 10 hours of it, you thought, okay, we're done. Well, no, we went another 4, and the reason why is it's that important, because once you understand and have a hypothesis of who they are, now you can start wrapping your content around that would actually trigger them emotionally, or you're connecting with them emotionally to that specific content. Now, some of you might say, look, these big YouTubers don't do this. And, they basically are just putting out great content. And I 100% disagree with you on that. And the reason why is there might be a creator or two, but I've seen creators just know my audience is going to love this. I hear that a lot, or they're not going to like that. I got to take that out. Or this video is going to tank because it's not even connecting what I thought the audience wanted, right? And so that right there is something that we look at in depth, of really, really understanding and anticipating that content. Because once you understand, why they're coming on to YouTube, who they are, and what they would actually like to consume, you're going to do that test. You're going to put out that content. And then that's where the data comes in, and we're able to validate. The biggest thing that most people do is validate through the analytics on YouTube. For me, I validate it through comments. I want to read every comment, and I do. I read every comment when I'm trying to understand the persona, just to see, they took their time out of watching the video to type in really quick a comment about the video, right? And you might say, well, I have 0 comments. Well, then just look at your analytical data and try to get more people engaged. Maybe you need to start the conversation in the comments, because there's a lot of people looking to have those conversations. And so at the end of the day, it's more about the viewer, okay, and understanding that, because if you just focus in on content and you take the component out of who's watching it, then you have a harder time getting your video to be seen. And I know all of you would love to have more views. I know that all of you would love to have more interaction, would love to have more engagement, would love to have a loyal audience, an active viewer. And I want you to have that too. And the only way you can do that is start designating some of your time to start going through of who your audience is and how you can provide a unique value to them. Okay, so here's the thing. There's so much to YouTube success. It's hard. I'll be honest with you. It's a very hard road to push down, but sometimes we make it harder than we should. And that's where I want all of you to just kind of take a step back and start breathing a little bit, go a little bit differently on what you're consuming here. I'm pulling up a few things real quick. Really just dig deep into it. And the reason why is because if we will just allot, a half an hour, an hour, each time that you make a video of who's going to be watching this. I know that it might seem a lot, and you might not think that you can do this, but just spending the time, a half an hour to an hour, of really defining who would actually find this valuable. And you're always trying to make those assumptions. And when you shoot the video, and I would recommend you do this before you actually shoot the video, you're like, oh, they would love this. Now, this is where the next tip comes in. Okay. And this is really, really, really important. When you're going through your format of what your video is that's bringing value to the people, I want multiple variations of this. So like when we do a hook, we're going to try 3 or 4 different hooks, and we're going to record those hooks. Why? Because I want to do just different ideas of how to hook that viewer who we have a hypothesis who they are, how to pull them into that video. Because that first, 5-10 seconds is sacred, where you got to pull them in very quickly and validate what your title and thumbnail is. And so we do 3 or 4 different types of hooks that we can in post try out and see which one actually hits the best. And you'll be able to start anticipating this. And then 2, one thing that we break down is how to start telling the story in the video. How do we start doing storytelling? That's why, the book really starts breaking it down on that. Let me see what chapter it is. It's like really chapter 15, 16, really deep diving into content. Actually 17 as well. But it's like really trying to anticipate the moment that you can actually bring in value to that viewer that we're assuming. Now, you also need to write down in your preparation steps, when you're trying to understand who's going to be watching this, some exit points. Like, what would they find dissatisfying? What would they engage, with? And you're writing those down, and you're trying to understand them as much as you can. Now, once you have the rhythm of doing this for, when you can start to see success, then you don't need to take the hour or 2 or a half an hour to an hour to really deep dive into this. You don't, because you already have a good assumption of what it is. But what I want you to do then at that point is continue to validate that that's who it is. Going and reading comments. We had a client, I can't disclose the client, but the client was really concerned because they were pivoting their channel. And they were really, really super concerned because they were looking to take it from a younger audience to a more mature audience, and they didn't know how to do it. And so they paid us to come in and do a complete audit and then start breaking down a plan for them. And as we were breaking down the plan, we spent probably a week on just who the people are. And they're like, this is insane. Why are you spending a week? We need the content. Like, no. When you understand who they are, we can get the content. The content's easy to provide. And they just didn't get it. So we did it. We created the ideas for the content. They produced the content. They released the content. And it didn't get as many views as they normally would. And they called me up and says, look, I told you, like, this is not resonating very well. This is like literally less views. I wanted more views, and that's what we're doing. I says, okay, first off, you're pivoting. And the bulk of the people that are watching your content are not even subscribed to you. Like, we can already see that in your data, right? What we need to do is seeing who's watching these videos. And so when we went into analytics, we were literally looking at the demographics, and we went into the psychographics. Okay, the psychographics was the comments, and we were starting to deep dive of how they thought about this. It had 20 times more engagement on the comments than any other video that it had. However, it didn't have as many views. And I says, okay, it's striking a chord. And so what we did is went through the comments and like, oh man, this speaks to me, or oh, I was laughing at so much at this, time stamp mark, whatever. And they're really, really engaging with it. And yet they had a thread that was going on that had over 1,000 comments. Okay, one thread, 1,000 comments, people replying. And I like that. This is gold. And we went through that thread, and it was like, oh man, this really spoke to me. And I hope that this creator does this and that or whatever. Here was all the video ideas that we needed from this group of audience. So what did we do? We released the next video we already had produced. Okay. It still hit with the same audience. We didn't get 20x the engagement. We only got like 12x, but still that's 12x, right? And we now had an active viewer. We had a lot of people that watched the first video, watched the second. And that active viewership went way up. And that's kind of a trigger point for the AI. It says, oh, new audience, let's try this out. And over 21 days, those two videos continued to grow. They continue getting suggested. It continued to go on the homepage. And you're able to get more views. So like in the amount of time of 21 days, after they released the video, these videos had more views than the previous videos because they're like going off of a different target audience. However, the third video was the kicker. The third video is where all the magic happened, because what we saw was in the comments, they were giving ideas. And it was really, really heated, and it was really debated. And it was one of those great opportunities to really speak to those people, right? So we actually made the third video based off of a comment was on the first video that was released. And that's where everything went bananas right then and there. Everything went bananas after that, because it was like 40x more comments. It had a high share rate. People were like posting it all over the internet. People were ripping it off and freebooting it and all this other stuff. But it was a really, really good video, right? And that's where things actually occurred, where they were able to transform their audience. Now, here's the next thing that we did is I went back through all the different videos that was still bringing in views, okay? And they're looking to pivot to an older audience, right? And so we had 3 strong videos that was gathering that older audience. I was still looking at some other ones that were in there that were bringing in, thousands of views, every hour. And that's when I made those private. And that, I know that's hard for a lot of people to do. And I don't recommend you doing this unless you know what the heck you're doing. Okay. But the reason why we made those private was because we didn't want new people coming in. We wanted the AI to really focus in on these first 3 videos that we did, and we triggered it. Well, since then, they're getting more views and more visibility than ever before, and it's to a new audience, and they leveled up. The great thing about it is their CPMs increased because they were going after an older audience, and it was a win. It was basically a win. Now, I can tell you the tips that we needed to succeed was understanding who would find value in the content that we would be providing. And then also getting and speaking to them, whether it's entertainment or inspiring or educating them or just to help them unwind. That's what we were looking to do, that unique value proposition. And so this is so much fun that I obsess with it. And I want you guys to obsess with it too, because once you understand the persona breakdown, then we can really start making content to bring so much value. So here's my thing. Share on Twitter that you want to jump on. You have to make sure you have a mic and a camera. And I can give you a link, but share it in there. What I want to do is go through an exercise of things that I think about when we look at audiences. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Now, after a few of these, we'll take questions. So the questions will be answered, but this is going to be fun. And so make sure you do it on Twitter. I'll DM you. That's just the easy thing for me to do it. So I'll give you a moment or two to go from there, because when we truly identify the process of who we're making content for, it's easier to anticipate success. It's easier to anticipate what they want. And so that gives us an opportunity to really engage the viewer in a way that the AI can pick up on similarities and find more audiences for you. Okay, so go ahead, do some tweets. Let's see who we got. Let's see here. All right. If you want to jump on, send it to me here. There we go. Okay, you guys, check your DMs on. So Anthony, I'll pull you on the Beardy Doritos. Giving you a link here. You'll be able to pull on in a second. We're going to go through this because what I want you to do is see practical information about how to engage. Now, I'm going to be bringing more people on. So like this is like tweet it out. Like I'm going to go back and find other people to bring on too. After Anthony's, but definitely want you to do this. And what we're going to do is start breaking down and understanding his audience a little bit. And, it'll be great. I'm drinking out of my Facebook cup. All right. So we'll see. We'll give him a minute or two to jump on. And then let me look to see if there's anybody else here. All righty. This is the fun part. I love it when we can have good discussions. So hopefully, Anthony, you got that link. You can jump on, and let me grab another one. Okay, got another one coming on too. John, check your check your DM. And then two, I need to get some females on there too. So like, let's go ahead and represent on that other side there. All right. So as they're coming on, we can start breaking it down. So while they're jumping on, I guess I'll take a little commercial break real quick. For those that don't know, we got Vid Summit coming up. It is happening September 28th through the 30th. It's in Los Angeles. You can find information at vidsummit.com. It's an event I put on every year where me and my partners, Mr. Beast and Sean Duras, we look at how can we bring the most value to people of helping them establish businesses in this realm. So how do you make more money? How do you grow your audience? How do you scale a team? How do you save more time? That's what we do there. We're just getting ready to announce our big speakers that's going to be coming up in the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to bring Anthony on first, since he was first, and hopefully, Anthony, you are ready to go. How's it going, man?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Everything's good. What about you?
Doing good. So tell me, what do you do on YouTube? What's your channel about?
So first it was a gaming channel. The competition was really high. So then I decided to make a reaction channel.
Okay.
And I'm trying my best to do some new things, but not good. It's not.
No, and I can understand that for sure. So
Yeah.
what is your first language? How many languages do you speak, and what's your native tongue?
It's Armenian, Arabic, and English.
Okay, great. And how good is your Arabic? Is it pretty good?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
fluent.
Okay, so and is your channel in English or what is your channel in?
In English,
Okay,
of course.
okay, great. So here's the thing, and this is what I like. I'm a firm believer on this. That when we start looking at YouTube beyond the United States in English is when their true opportunities are around us. And what we can do is really look at where to leverage it. I can tell you right now, I'm heading to Abu Dhabi in a couple
Mm,
months, and I'm telling you, YouTube's blowing up there, and they don't have enough content to provide that region. Like they don't.
yeah.
And so for me, in that situation, I would start looking at who you're creating content for and start looking at those opportunities, because what you can do is look at, oh, here's a great creator that does English only, like Laserbeam, for example. And I don't know what gaming content you do, but you could start breaking that down. But then you're like, okay, who would be watching this in that speaks Arabic, right? And you start
Mm,
breaking it in that way. And I'm here to tell you, you have a higher probability to succeed because there's not that much competition. And what they're looking for is the same things that people around the world are looking for, but you're providing with a specific need. Now, I can tell you this, that if there was one place in the world that I would create content, for an emerging market, outside of English, like US is what I would look for English, it would be there, or South America, specifically Brazil. And the reason why is those are the fastest growing. And I've seen channels that get 1 million subscribers in like 40 days. It's like nuts because they don't have a lot of competition. So what I would do is start breaking that down. Now, you might not want to do this, but I would 100% really look at this in the whole, because I'd start looking at what type of people would be watching this, and see what type of competition's out there. Look at, who's doing what in the space, and see the opportunity for what it is. And then go into their mind of like, who are they? How old are they? What's their day looking like? When they wake up to evening time, how are they interacting with people? Then you're able to really have a good understanding of who you're creating content for. And then you're releasing it at the right time. You're doing it in an engaging way, and you can go from there. And I can tell you, if you actually have a crystal ball, you actually can see the future, because they're a few years behind when it comes to YouTube. It's just barely emerging there, where they're just craving for content creators. And so you can see what's working in the US, apply it in Arabic, and it's game over. We've done that time and time again. Like, one of the fastest growing channels that we've ever seen get to 1 million subscribers was in 28 days in Brazil. And they were able to get it like that. And the reason why is they were doing a format that was proven to work worldwide. Okay, something similar to that. But then they were looking, okay, how do we actually bring this to the people that speak Portuguese, but more specifically Brazil? And what happened was, one video got picked up, took off, and they started releasing videos, and it just grew. They had 3 videos that brought them in like 500,000 subscribers just off of 3, and the rest came from the other. But 28 days, and so that's what I would do if it was me, Anthony. Even though that you're like, hey, I want to do this or whatever, this might be your toe in the water. Like, what you want to do is grow an audience first, right? And I would assume that a good majority of the people speak both Arabic and English, or another language, right? So you're able to understand that. And then once this gets hopping and going, you have the opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into maybe an English channel too, of like, hey, this is what I'm doing there. But I can tell you, the amount of sponsorship money and the CPMs in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and in surrounding areas is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. And there's a lot of opportunity there for the right type of content creator. So that's what I would do if it was me. It might not have interest for you, but if I was in your shoes, that's what I would be looking at, because then you can actually express yourself a little bit easier. And it's connecting with people that speak probably more than one language, and English isn't their first language too, but you can maybe bring some slang in or whatever in that way to really resonate with that audience. And so I would look at, okay, who are the top 20 creators that are English only? that would be similar content you wanted to create back in Arabic, and that's what I would do. And
So
this works. This works. I'm telling you, there's like there's content creators in Russia that are crushing it right now, that they do the similar type of videos that Mr. Beast does. You know, it's just like, this content works. You just got to find your audience.
I've been watching SS Sniper Wolf lately, and
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like, what I would do is just try to figure out like that whole audience itself of who would actually engage with those creators, and then look in the Arabic world of what would work really well.
Yeah, all right. I'll do that. Thank
Okay.
you so
So can you do me a favor? When you launch your first video on this new channel, if you decide to do it, could you just DM me? We just connected there because I want to see it. Because what you guys don't know is I actually have a couple Arabic channels, and I practice what I preach, man. I'm telling you, when I say there's an opportunity, I go where the opportunity is at, and you'd be amazed of the crave for Arabic only content. It's just massive. So
I should create an Arabic content and send you a DM?
Yeah, make the channel in Arabic, create some content, send me a DM. I'd love to check it out.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next we have Mr. John. How you doing, John?
Wonderful, Daryl. Thanks for picking me. I was typing as fast as I could to get in here. My wife was using the microwave, which usually messes up our Wi-Fi. I'm like, stop the microwave. I need to contact Daryl.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we're here. So kind of explain what you do real quick for everyone, and then we'll kind of break down your audience real quick.
I've made my living as a motivational speaker and entertainer. I've hosted a couple of dozen shows for the Discovery Channel over the years. My channel at first was basically a commercial for my entertainment and corporate speaking business. And I did a few different videos. I did a prank video that got over 1 million views just on a whim, but I'm not a prank guy.
Yeah,
but it has over 1 million views, and half of my 5,000 whatever subscribers are from that. And then February of 2020, I wanted to change things and not just have it a big commercial, not realizing March of 2020, my speaking business was going to be about dead.
Yeah.
And then I did anything from a video on how to shave my head, reviews of TubeBuddy, different things. But I've been focusing the last little bit on motivation and happiness. And my question for you is, should I get rid of the 1 million view prank thing? Is that holding me back because YouTube is spitting me out to prank channels things, or how? Just take a peek. I mean, I shouldn't have a question. I mean, just tear me apart, Daryl.
Let's not necessarily be rash on anything yet. So let's just take a look real quick. Let me just pull up your channel here. There we go. So here you are, right?
That's me.
Is this the one that we're looking at here?
That's the one. That's the only one.
Great. So I think that the first thing for me, I'm just kind of adjusting it here so it looks good. Okay. Is seeing what's happening, right? So like, of course, if you have that 1.1 million, that's fine. Then you have a prank itself. So you had a couple,
I did it again 3 years later, which I shouldn't have. But
did you do any paid advertising on any of these, or is this all organic?
No, all organic. No, okay. I've never done paid advertising, and I know I need to work on my thumbnails like crazy.
Yeah, like for me, it's like, I always try to figure out the finish line, right? I want to know what that finish line is, and the reason why I start there is because it helps me really define and reverse engineer a path. So like, if everything, like all the stars in heaven align perfectly, John, and you're able to have your channel, your business be at a certain point, what would that be and what does it look like?
My ultimate dream right now, just the way the world is going and everything else over the last bit, like I said, making the world a happier place one person at a time. Today, I'm starting with you. I would love it to be that Mr. Rogers type, not the, the little kid rated type thing, but somewhere that people can go to get motivated, to get happy, to smile. And if it could get me speaker bookings on top of that, that would be great, because I still love doing that. But the content that I'm putting out now is motivational. I went to Detroit the other day and got out my Switch Pod and my phone and did one about, it's never too late for a second chance. Like Detroit, it's made a huge comeback and everything else from what it was, and how you could do that with your own life and what have you. So a place that people can go to get motivated and happy. And if that will bring me in money as well, that would be great on top of the speaking gigs. But that's what I want my channel is happy motivation, and not the pranks and not the, I might throw commercials in now and again or mention I do speaking, but it's like, YouTube, not always, me too,
Yeah. I always like to look at the end result. So like for me, it sounds like you'd still, if the opportunity arises to do public speaking, you do it. Cause it's like, that's what you do. Right.
Yeah.
And so this, like where, I mean, if you're going this other route, where's the money going to come from on just, inspirational on money?
I know that prank videos don't pay a ton, for the million views, it was like, whoa. Yeah.
So I think the essence is like, I would really try to understand the viewer a little bit. So there's a lot of people coming on that are looking to de-stress. They're looking to unwind. They're looking to be entertained. Right. And so that's the audience that you're trying to appeal to, right? Those that are coming to that. Like there's another type of audience too that I would look at is the people that just need the warm fuzzies during the day for affirmation type stuff. And so I would start looking at that as your first perspective. Okay. Now the second one is the demographics. Like who are you going to resonate? Are you going to resonate with Gen Z? Are you going to resonate with a millennial, a Gen Xer? Are you going to resonate with a boomer?
The analytics are showing me more in the, my age range, 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So middle-aged people that I think are just going, what am I going to do with my life? Or, their careers have changed but then again, I have younger people that, like I did one on suicide prevention once, and I had a guy call me that I barely knew that said he watched that video. He was ready to kill himself. He watched my video and he stopped. So it was like, holy crap, if my videos can, that's the person that called me and told me they didn't kill themselves because of what I did and that I inspired them. I would there's always that person out there that you don't know what, the person that you honk at the light or flip off or yell at the person behind the counter, you don't know what they're going through. And with depression and anxiety, look at Robin Williams, look at whoever. I have my cases of anxiety and depression at times. There's just such a need for that. So I would say middle-aged more than the young people, because I'm an old guy,
So it's okay, middle-aged more than young people. We'll identify this in a second, and we'll make some assumptions and have a hypothesis for sure. But like where do you think that they'd be coming from? So US based, is that kind of where
I would say US? The analytics show US 90% of it. And the other ones are probably for the prank video, because it's universal scaring the crap out of people.
Yeah. So here's how I would break down. So we understand why they're coming on to YouTube, what they're actually looking for. And then two, we have a little bit of an understanding. It'd be probably heavily male, probably 75 plus, percent plus. You're probably looking at, I would say 35 to probably 55, 65 range could be your audience. So let's talk about what their day looks like, because this is where we really need to understand. So based off of the demographics, you can kind of go in and say, okay, California or whatever, you can start seeing which, cities, but the bulk of the views actually come in different ways, right? And you got to understand, are they in inner city, they in cities, they in suburbs, they in remote, like nowhere, like I am? It's just like, you got to start defining what their day looks like. And are they commuting? Is there disruption in their house because of the pandemic? Are they working from home? Are they employed? Are they unemployed? We got to start making a lot of these assumptions, and this is where it gets fun. So what I like to do is pull out a sheet of paper and just start writing down all the things that you believe that they are. So you say, okay, they're 35 to 60 years old. Okay. So they have a job. They might not be employed right now. They might be on unemployed, they might be checking in there, but here's kind of what their life looks like. And here's where it's kind of upside down. And here's where that age range, they could have kids. They might be married. They might be divorced. They might not even be married. But it's like you start trying to anticipate a lot of those things. And I start writing those down. And then I'm like, okay, what are some of the problems that they're facing? Now, if you're thinking about, hey, I'm just trying to have them to be happy and tell jokes. Well, don't you think it'd be really important to understand, what problems that they actually have and what they're facing, right? And that way it can kind of speak to them on a deeper level. So then I start writing all those things down very, very specifically. And then once I have that, I'm like, okay, what do they do online? Who are they connecting with, from a content creator side that's bringing them value? What does that value actually look like? And so I start trying to identify, in recon and research, that phase of just some creators that would fill into the gap. One that I think that hits, it's not necessarily making them laugh or whatever, but it's like Naz Daily, like on Facebook, they crush it there. It's just more, inspirational, like pick me up type content. And so you've got to look at all the different formats that actually comes across, right? And so I'd write those down too. And then I start really looking at, okay, what can I do with their problems to help make them be happier in the day? Like, is it the mindset thing or whatever? How do we actually take it to the next level? How do we actually understand and speak to them? What type of content do they need? Is it more setting up, storytelling that would be impactful? Is it just short form video content that is just really engaging and impactful? I mean, we've got to start looking at all these opportunities, and then we need to see what they do offline. So we do online already, offline. Now, where do they go? Do they go shopping? What's the supermarket that they go to? Do they just, connect with friends? Do they go to comedy club? Like, how are they getting their fix, in whatever their fix may be? What type of hobbies do they have? I like to break that down, and a lot of people don't. And it's a very, very, very wrong thing to do. So there's a channel that we partner with. I want to show you this. And I think this is just for everyone's understanding.
Because the interesting thing, like when you watch Shark Tank and what have you, it's for everybody. Everybody's going to love it. And I know you've mentioned that too. You can't everybody could be depressed or anxiety. But if we're going for everybody, you can't please everybody. Yeah. So I love what you're saying here.
Yeah, you can't necessarily please everybody, but you can start understanding a little bit. So one of the channels that we partnered up with last year is Matt's Off-Road Recovery. And what's cool about this channel is getting tons of views, great engagement and great loyalty factor. But the point is there's things that were being edited out of the video that should have made it in the video. And let me kind of explain one of those things. When we went through and really started defining who the audience is, like I was obsessed with it for like 3 months. And I wanted to know every little thing about it. And luckily I had a lot of information to do it. And I know how to gather that information. But it was, what is their daily routine? Well, the bulk of the people that actually watch this channel are blue collar workers. Okay. They're working with their hands. They're out doing sales or whatever. They're just out doing construction, but they love the outdoors. And then you do also have a segment of the market that are professionals, and yet they still love this type of stuff because they're like small town people. They did the outdoors as a kid. They love to do it. They love their getaway. So you have those both audiences. So my thing is I look at the core. So the core is who is going to watch the videos that's going to resonate so much with your content that they're never going to skip a video. That's one I really look at. So for this one was, well, what do they do in the day? Well, they wake up, they probably do some exercises, do stuff with their family real quick, breakfast or whatever. But they're out the door fast. They're stopping at the gas station. They're picking up their favorite beverage to get through it. They're probably grabbing some snacks. They're going to the job site. That's basically the bulk of their morning, right? And when we were going through this, I'm like, the creator of this channel was taking out stuff that they've recorded. Like he went to the gas station, got a drink, his favorite drink, and would get some nachos because he loves nachos and he loves his breakfast burritos. Well, he was editing that out. He says, no, people want to see the recovery. I'm like, no, you're missing the point. You're going to put that in.
He's
and
just
when
like
they put
me.
it in, yeah, exactly. It was that bonding agent that says, oh my gosh, he eats nachos. Okay. He eats nachos. That's great. But it was that moment is like, oh, he's like us. And it was that connection. And, you know, he was able to get 500,000 subscribers in 6 months of just really, you know, putting that tactical strategy together where it was about, you know, the people helping other people instead of here's how you recover a vehicle. Like it's completely opposite, right? And once we did that and started anticipating the viewer, that's where the views started to blow up. It's because now the loyalty factor is, hey, he's one of us, and you know this is what it is. It's I love hanging out with the crew. It's so great. That's what it's all about. And
That's
so
great.
for you, John, this is where you need to take a little bit of time and really define, you know, who this audience is and what their day looks like.
And it's probably just like me, you know, when you look at that off-road guy, probably my ideal avatar is somebody like myself that could use motivation and smiles throughout the day. You know,
it could be, and it might not be. I mean, you can make that assumption, and you can see what validates it, you know, and what you gravitate towards. But I think it's more, you got to be very cautious to say, hey, I am the avatar. I don't believe in that, and the reason why is because you go try to find someone exactly like you out there in the world. You can't.
But, you know, I should reverse that because I quit my 9-to-5 in '93, and I've been doing entertainment and speaking, you know, since then, since I was 23 and I'm 51 now. And so I don't have the 9-to-5 and it's my weekend is the only time to whatever. Every day I can do whatever. Like today, I thought, why do I need to shave? I'm going to mow the lawn, gonna read the YouTube formula book a little bit more.
That's right.
I'm not going to be on a YouTube video seen by thousands of people. Should have listened to should have shaved. But yeah, that's going to be the interesting part is trying to figure out who to hit. So my second question, if you have a chance, is that million view video hurting my algorithm now? If I want to go into happiness and YouTube's going, why are we going to spit out happiness when John Pullum dressed as a bush scaring the crap out of people is getting us views?
So I think once you understand who your audience is, if they would find it helpful and they say, oh, that's funny or engaging, then it's okay. Right.
Okay.
Is if it's like 90% of all your views that's coming into your channel and you're having a hard time getting new views, then you probably need to reevaluate that. But I don't see it being damaged because I don't see it's too far off. Okay. You know, you're just trying to make people laugh. You're trying to have them, you know, change their mindset a little bit from there. But you're going to definitely need to change your approach. Because like when I see your videos, and I know that you're still, you know, looking at this of how to engage with it, but when I'm like going through the videos itself, I can't tell what the channel's about. You know what I'm saying?
Nor can I. You know, if I were to look at it, it's like,
yeah.
What are you selling now?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go there, but thank you for going there for me.
It is. It's like going. I described it to somebody like that. It's like going into a business and you open it up and it's a dog groomer. You take your dog there, you go back the next day and it's an Italian restaurant, same owner. YouTube, as you say, doesn't know. They're not going to be throwing me at people when they don't know what I'm going to put out next.
Yeah. And I think that's where programming comes in and understanding what, like, you got to anticipate a few things that they're going to need. Right. And you got to start seeing, okay, what's going to be the most value for them at this specific time. And, you know, getting them to be consistently looking at your content is going to be a struggle. But the more that you understand what people want and where they find value, then you can wash, rinse, and repeat that over and over and over again. And so for everyone that's on right now, what we're doing here is extremely important because, you know, sometimes we just put content, we try to, you know, just throw it out to the world and it just doesn't perform. And you're like, why isn't this performing? Well, who did you make it for? You know, like, why did you even make that piece of content? Now you might say, I'm going to make content that I love. That's great. But you still need to bring value to someone. And we need to figure out who that is. So here's a little tip is I would probably do a complete makeover on your channel. And I want you to think this: simplicity sells. Okay. So just make it as simple as possible. Like what I see on your banner, happiness starts today, you know, or something like that. And then a picture of you, you know, that's it. I don't think you need anything more than that. If that's what it is happiness starts today, it's really on brand.
Just those three words, not the making the world a happier place one person at a time. Today I'm starting with you. Just happiness starts today.
Yeah, I literally don't know what you just said before you just said that.
I'm sorry.
It's like
I'm sorry.
No. What I'm saying is it's just too complicated. Like,
yeah,
it needs like when someone watches it, they need to understand, what it is and what it isn't fairly quickly. And so, happiness starts today is a really easy. I just pulled it out of
that's great.
my mind, whatever. But it's just like it's easy to understand, easy to share. And it pretty much encapsulate what you're trying to do without getting all wordsmithing and word vomiting all over the place.
Happiness is contagious is another one I used before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if contagious. I don't know if contagious is the best word, in the last year, but
it doesn't matter. Like just look at, come up with brainstorm some options and see what works, but like simplify, right?
Yeah.
And I would do it with your branding. And then two, like you already said your thumbnail, so it helps. So I won't go there, but it's like,
they need
really help. Start focusing in on that. And then what I would look at is, what state of mind are they in right now? People that are they in a desperate state that they're reaching out, are they going from there? Are they just checking in from that point of, they're using you as, some mental health, they're trying to,
I think they are
just get through the day. I don't know. But basically, you start breaking it down and you start testing it out. So I always look at, can I identify one person? And I try to create that avatar of understanding who they are. So when we go into the demographics, I'm trying to imagine I'm presenting to them specifically. And you might know someone. You might say, okay, no, this would be my ideal avatar. They're between 35 and 55. They're male. They're struggling with just understanding where they're at in life. There's been a lot of changes recently. They're having relationship issues. They're struggling at work. They might be unemployed or whatever. There's just that struggle. So what can I bring them that they would find valuable, right? Go ahead.
Sorry. The one thing that I'm thinking as you're talking, the thing that I think probably started me on this, when I go up to a cash register or see somebody in the aisle or whatever, and they go, "How are you doing today?" I go, "Other than having a bad hair day, I'm doing great."
Yeah.
And they laugh. And I've had so many people, Daryl, that have looked at me and teared up and made me tear up and said, "Thank you. I haven't laughed in such a long time. I haven't smiled in such," and these are strangers.
Yep.
I haven't smiled in such a long time or laughed in such a long time. I
really
really need
that
that.
we're living right now. It's like very, very depressing. There's so much going on.
And this was before all the stuff that's been going on. And it's for years. So I'm like, people, and I laugh all the time. I do stuff and I'm alone in the car and I hit my head or something. I crack up. People probably think I'm nuts. Maybe I am, but that's what I want. But I really have to, like you said, focus on that avatar and what's in it for them and just keep going with it.
Yeah. And I think too, it would be what can they do and what can you bring them that they'll want to watch to the end of the video too? Because it's like people need actionable steps. People need, programming that just works. But let me give you some really good advice because this is something I can do. Okay. So you've been a public speaker for how long now?
Ooh, 30 whatever years. I was 23 when I quit my real job, but I had been doing it since I was 16, doing magic shows and stuff. So 30 whatever years. Yeah, I'm 51 now. So
okay, have you ever bombed on stage before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a lot of times
what no
it is the audience that I am.
Well, let's talk about this for a second.
Well.
Why did you bomb?
Which is interesting.
Yeah, why did you bomb?
Some of the main reasons that I've bombed is so I'm supposed to go on at 8 p.m. or whatever, right after dinner. Well, they've been in meetings since 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. They've been all day, and then this delay or that delay. So they have me go on at like 10 p.m. or something crazy after the people are like, name your, Jay Leno or whoever could have gone on stage and bombed because the people were dead or and you're going to love this one, not the right target audience for what I'm presenting.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not a good fit for what I was presenting and not into whatever. And th're more of the rough and tough, whatever, riding on a tractor type guys.
so what I want you to do is go back through and just remember that, like, write down every time that you bombed and see if you can start seeing some patterns of what that is. And you might have done this, you know, just in your mind, but I want you to write it down so you can see
it's
it.
always
And
the
then
same
I want you
thing.
to like literally do the same thing, but do when you just knocked it out of the park too. Like, what did that actually look like? I don't want any of the mediocre crap. Just focus in on the two opposites, because I can literally tell you the dynamic of the room is different between when you bombed and when you didn't. And then two, how you present things to the one that you bombed probably could have knocked it out of the park if you knew what the audience was before you got there, and you had a better idea of how to engage with them. Like having a session at 10 o'clock at night is not bad. You just need to know how to deal with the session at 10 o'clock at night and who you're actually presenting to. So I would definitely break it down like that. And that will help you have a better understanding of the content that you naturally will engage with. And the people that you'd actually engage with too. Give you a little bit of a hypothesis of who your YouTube audience is, and then start breaking down some of the challenges and the problems and things that they face and what they do online and offline, and really start defining that. And then I would look at what is the most valuable thing that I could teach them or to get them to laugh, and start making a list of those things and say, okay, pick your top two. Then try to figure out what's the title that's going to really bring them in and really connect with them emotionally, that they're going to be able to, what's the thumbnail going to look like that helps them, you know, really succeed. And so it just needs to be very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Look at the individual when you do it, and then you're going to actually perform at a higher level. And I know that a lot of people have this gift that they can just do it naturally and not even have to think about it, but they're doing it internally with them not even knowing that they're doing it. And so I always just get in the practice to do it, because I always expand my understanding. And that's how, when we expand our understanding, we know how to leverage certain things to really grow in certain ways. And that's what I normally do for any project that I go on, is really having a deep dive of understanding that individual. And when you do it right, that's when you can see growth. Because people will talk about it organically, which is the best way. Hey, did you see, you know, John's video when he did this? So that needs to be that simple to explain. Well, who's John? You know, well, he's the happiness guy, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, when you break it down, that's when that occurs naturally. And then, you know, they're tagging people or sharing with people that they know that they needed that message, and they're actually finding the audience for you. And at the same time, the AI is going, oh, okay, we know who this person is, and let's start kind of boosting it out from there. And that's where it can get really, really, really interesting quick. And so hopefully you understand this. You know, I hope you apply this.
Oh, I do.
This
big time.
by far is more important than content, because this helps set the stage to make your content, you know, be so much better, because you're like knowing those trigger points, and then you're able to analyze it if it worked or it didn't work. And then you can kind of adjust your strategy moving forward. So
perfect. I have a consult with you at the end of June. So I will try my best to get all these things in place. And then
get going. Yeah.
Get going. So I'm like, look at Daryl. He's proud of me. And I shaved for the consult.
There you go.
Buy the book, people. Buy the book.
Well, I'm glad that we have our consult coming up. And those that didn't know, I do hourly consults. You can just find it on my site, daryleaves.com. Or if you want me to mentor you for 12 months, expensive, but it's a really good program. It's called Channel Jumpstart. 12 weeks. Sorry. 12 weeks.
Look at that.
Well, there's people that actually go for 12 months, but anyway,
that's great.
That's a different stage. But for 12 weeks, you can find it in the description below. You know, Channel Jumpstart. It's really, really.
And I'm using the ring light I won from you.
Do I look? Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. Look at that.
It was, and it's still working.
Winner,
still
chicken
working.
dinner all the time.
That's it.
Love it.
Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you.
All right, John.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Yep.
Be happy.
There we go. All right. So, okay. So here's the thing, guys. There's so much that we can do to really succeed, but it's more about who we're making content for. And if you're making content for yourself, don't expect more than one view. You know, don't expect to get more views. What you need to do is really realize that you are putting a video out there for the world to see. And if you're resonating with a specific viewer, YouTube will find those other viewers to grow. And this has been so important, you know, that most content creators don't really look at, that they should, as they're creating content in their strategy. Now, I want to pull up one more person. So if we could actually on Twitter, just put it in there. This time we're going to try to get a female, so we can kind of balance that out real quick. And so if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be great. I'm going to copy a link here. So, and then two, after this last one, we're going to take Q&A. So get ready for that. That will kind of wrap up everything we're going to do. So we're going to do some live Q&As coming on. So you just got to make sure that you have a camera and mic on this. It would be great. Just checking on Mr. Twitter is what I call it. Okay. Let's take a look here. All righty. Fun stuff here, guys. Yes, I will answer super chats, but you might have to just tell me it was a super chat here in a second. Okay. Lauren, I'm sending you a link here. Lauren from Brazil. Okay, so as she's getting ready to come on, let me just kind of go through those that haven't had an opportunity to buy my book. You can go ahead and get that book at ytformula.com, or you can buy it on Amazon. Really, really in-depth book about YouTube. Love it to death. Put a lot of energy, effort into it. We're starting to see a lot of success. I actually had, I retweet stuff that happens. Let me show you this one real quick, because this is, let me pull this down. Let me get this a little bit bigger so you can see that. Give me 1 second here. But so from Jesus, basically he's just been posting on YouTube for a very long time, watched the video, and then he had, or not watched the video, bought the book, and he attributes the book to his success. My big thing is, you know what, you as creators bring in your own success. You really do. That's something that sometimes you just need a direction. I do believe that any creator can succeed on YouTube, just by the nature of who they are. They don't need all the information that I teach or even in the book, but it could speed up the process, or it can connect the dots of some things that you might not see. Okay. And so I DM'd you, Lauren. You have to go into Twitter to get that. And all you got to do is click the link, and we can go from there. Who's finding this valuable? Go ahead and put it in the comments while we're getting Lauren to come on. Lauren, it's in Twitter in DM. When you have to go to Twitter to your DM. That's where I put it. Okay, so let's take a question or two. I believe that Hybrid Still, did you put your super chat in there, question, because I can't pull it up after it happens. So if you just put it in there, I'll go ahead and answer that while she's coming on. So if you wouldn't mind just doing that real quick, I'll pull it up. All righty. Okay, Mr. Hybrid. Yeah, no, I know that it's a super chat, but just give me your question that you did in super chat, because I can't grab it. So we'll do that, and then we'll get Lauren on real quick. Call him Mr. Hybrid. I know there's a delay, so I'm not. Okay. Here's a question real quick while we're waiting for Mr. Hybrid Still to do it. Can I order the ebook version of your book? Yes, the ebook, a Kindle version, is on Amazon. It is available. Okay, here is the question. I pivoted content, and I have made a new channel, or I've pivoted content. Should I have made a new channel or just carry on? That's a great question. One thing that I look at is, are you getting views on that older content? If you're not, then I wouldn't worry about it. Like, just continue on. I don't necessarily create a new channel just because we pivoted a little bit. I just is there some in that subscribed or active viewers that actually would like that content? That's what I look at. And if it's like, no, like we're just seeing very negative stuff, I might, if I I might just start a new channel based on that factor. But I always try to salvage the channel first. It's just easier to start with something than nothing, from my perspective. So, so it's going to make tutorials to more entertaining gaming. Okay. Yeah. Like I think if as long as it's tutorial gaming, like, was that what you're getting? That's what you're doing before. And now you want to go to entertainment. Look, you can, at the end of the day, you can start putting on the content, see if it's actually resonating with the entertainment version of it. And if people connect with it that are currently subscribed, that's great. And you'll have it. But ultimately, I personally don't like to start a new YouTube channel unless I absolutely have to. And it's just so off base, like it's dramatically different. But if I'm not getting views on the older videos, it doesn't matter. I would pivot the channel for sure. Okay, Lauren, you are up. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing good. Long time no see.
Yeah, good to see you. I didn't know if you'd remember me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we spent a couple days together, right? Like in Brazil,
yeah.
So, okay.
It was so much fun. Thank you.
Well, why don't we bring you up to speed? Like tell us what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and then what we're doing is focusing in on who your ideal viewer is. So,
okay. So I'm trilingual, so I speak Spanish, English, and Portuguese, but my mother tongue is English. But I lived in Brazil for a while, and I was teaching English to Brazilians, and I realized there were just so many people that want to learn. I really couldn't meet the demand, so I thought it'd be best to try to do it on YouTube and on social media. So I'm basically right now trying to figure out my avatar. I did start a channel where I'm teaching kind of more traditionally, but really that's not the way I teach. I like to teach as if someone was a friend. Really kind of like how I did some church service for a year and a half in Brazil where I spent time with Brazilians and I just hung out with them as friends. And that's the way I like to teach, by teaching vocabulary through just the things I would do normally. So
what was your YouTube channel?
My channel is called Fale com Lauren. It's in Portuguese, FALECOMLAUREN. So it's kind of all over the place. And I've just kind of been testing different things. Like I kind of did the traditional way where I would sit and like, this is how you do this is how you do that. But they're so boring. Like I can't even watch some of my own videos. But the one that did the best, it's got almost 10,000 views. My first video where I just kind of explained like who I am and why I speak Portuguese. And that really resonated with the people that found me. Oh my goodness, honey, you okay? I'm sorry, I have my son here. Oh, it's okay. Here you go. Here you go.
I think you were pregnant last time I was there. So is that the baby that I never knew?
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll have to let you see him later. But yeah, so that one they really liked and they enjoyed it. And what I'm trying to do is help people really just have more hope that they can actually speak. The number one problem is that they are extremely embarrassed by their mistakes. And so I just want people to have fun with it and not take themselves so seriously.
Right.
And just change their approach to learning a language. Instead of it being traditional, just make it like just a lot more fun.
Well, let's go through some factors. So why would they want to learn English?
Well, I think one of the reasons is because it can open up a lot of opportunities for them with work. And also I think it is a social status kind of thing to be able to speak English. It does provide you a lot of opportunities that they would like to have. Not that I agree with the social status aspect of it, but it just changes their life. They can do so much more. They can travel and understand and watch TV and movies and understand it without having to watch subtitles and understand music.
Yeah. So tell me about your demographics. Like, who are they? How old are they? What's the male-female ratio to this?
Well, I don't have enough followers and view time on YouTube to really have too much information on that. I do Instagram.
No, but tell me when you taught. When I taught,
I think what was best was the women. I think I resonate really well with actually the friends that I had, and that's kind of why I'm not really sure if this is the right avatar. But women that are 25 to 45 that are middle income to high income, love to travel. I'm a girl, like shopping, you know, I like fashion, I like makeup, I like going to the store and just hanging back and, you know, making the house look pretty and different things like that. So my life, and I would just teach the words of the things that I was doing and processes and kind of like the cultural aspect of an American's perspective on it.
So let me tell you a little bit of what I see, and then we can kind of deep dive into this. And it's just really just kind of going through, seeing some things. But I 100% believe that it's more male than female based off of your online things. I was just looking at just kind of the avatars of what it is, and it's like the bulk of them are males.
You know what? You're right. My first video was like almost 100% male.
Yeah, well, which is fine. Which is fine. Don't be embarrassed. So the second thing would be is you know, when you look at that, so you can say, okay, anyone that's like graduating college or something, they're trying to get ahead, you know, that could be your audience. I think it's gonna be a little bit younger. I think it's probably around 18 to 35 is probably the group that you should go after. I don't see many people in their 40s that decide, oh, you know, I'm going to start learning English right now. You know, it's more, hey, I'm going to learn this. It's going to further my career or give me new opportunities where I can travel, like you're saying. So I see that being more, you know, the 18 to 35 range. Now, that doesn't discount that you're going to have people in the older demographics for sure. But I think for me, when I look at it, is we gotta create you got to create a channel that makes sense. So I would actually add one more word to your channel. You know, so I'd say fala inglés, or what is it? English. Okay, yeah. So I'd just say speak English with Lauren, right? So I'd put that as your channel name. Then that way, then they know what it is right out of context. They know that, oh, I'm learning how to speak English with Lauren. Okay, so it's already in there. Now, yes, you could do that one, but the other one doesn't really hit because I don't know. Yeah, are you just going to talk to me? Is that what you're going to do? You know, this one's like more
a therapist or something too.
Yeah, because this is more on the nose, right? So you're like saying exactly what it is, right? And then it also has with you. Okay. The next thing is, I 100% would break down the who in this. So we already know the demographics, but we need to understand a little bit more about, you know, how are they learning English? So most of the, like, for those that don't know, the people that are trying to learn English, they usually start in school. They have some English classes, and then they watch a lot of TV and movies with captions, and a lot of people learn English that way. They're really obsessed with it, and that's what they need to do. So I would assume that you have the vast majority of people that are already trying that. And so what I would do if I were you is I would look at content that would actually accentuate that. You know, what is the best TV show for them to learn English? You know, which ones would be funny that you can kind of engage with or teach the lessons of, English. And they also go after slang too. Like, I know a lot of people are more worried about the slang than they are proper grammar when it comes to English, you know? And so you got to look at all the different aspects from that. And I would say, if you want to make it fun, it's like outdoorsy, it's on the go, that could be great. And you got to just look at where they're at on their journey. Because what you don't want to do is, if you're beginning level and you're always hitting the beginners, then you have to do all beginner stuff. What I would do is just do it one step away from beginners where it's intermediate. So people that might know 100 or 200 words, you know, they might have been watching it a little bit of English type of content, whether it's TV or movies or whatever, you know, they're really trying to push that. And I would focus in on that group. Because that group is dedicated a little bit more time to learning. They're not just brand new. Yeah. And I think it's your audience that you need to, focus in on. So I would look at, what are they doing? So, where are they coming from? I would assume, and for those that don't know, Brazil is freaking huge. Like everybody thinks it's small, but it's not. It's massive. Okay. Massive. So, I think, didn't you and I, my wife and I, and you and your husband and Jeffrey Harmon, didn't we go like on the tallest building in Sao Paulo? Like I couldn't even see the end of the Sao Paulo. I'm like, whatever, what's going on here?
It's literally bigger. The best thing is when you look at a globe made in Brazil versus the one in the US, they always kind of skew which one's bigger. So
exactly.
They're pretty comparable in size.
So what I would do is look at, that's the area that I would be looking at, big metropolitan places, and what are they doing? Where are they going? You know, how are they integrating? How are they learning? You know, out on the street with you could be a segment or whatever. But I really want you to focus in on intermediate, right? So the intermediate people that they know some slang or whatever, and then it's helping them. And then create exercises or things that they can do so they can better improve their English, right? Now, this being said, I want you to go and do some recon research, not in Brazil speaking, but look in, you know, Spanish, look in, you know, Chinese, look in all these different languages, see if you can find other creators that are doing something similar on the street, and try to get some ideas. But when I look at your, you need a content strategy that it's like, okay, you know, these are the type of videos that we're going to produce, and this is the result that the people are going to learn and get, right? And they're going to want more. I would 100% do pop culture if it was me.
That's totally what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but when you do it, you got to. Well, when you do it, you got to do it a little bit differently. So it could be like, what are the #1 TV shows in Brazil that's English speaking? Okay. You know, that could be like taking out segments and how they need to learn it and how they can look at it, you know, how they can apply it, so on and so forth. But yeah, I look at pop culture wise of what they can do. And then I think too, it's like anticipating things that they don't know that they need to know. Right. Okay. And that's something that you have a lot of experience in teaching English, you know, for a very long time. It's just like, oh, they come in thinking this, but we need to overcome that. So what I always like to do is like what I call a viewer ladder. When they come on, they discover you. What's their journey on getting to becoming an active viewer, right? What do they need to have? You know, what's going to help them? So for me, it's helping them feel comfortable trying their English out, right? And engaging with someone. And once they do that and they can get around it, the more they speak it, the easier it becomes. And it can go from there, right?
Is it possible for me to do what you're saying with pop culture? So definitely I will start to do that. Then music and movies. Can I show, I know they're super interested just in everything American. And I'm a little bit more involved in my Instagram. I have more demographics on that part, which is a different area, I understand. But can I show my life and the things that I'm doing? Like, let's go shopping together. Let's like go do this thing. Even though my demo right now it's male, but I really feel like I guess I'm resonating well with them, at least in that popular video, but I feel like I would connect way better with the girls.
No, you probably will be, but I'm just telling you, there are more men that are looking to speak English than females, and it's not me being you know, sexist or whatever. It's just that's just the reality of it, because just the consumption patterns on YouTube. Okay. Now, if it's a different platform, of course, it's going to skew more female on Instagram. Yeah. But, you know, it skews more male on YouTube. So what I would do is try to figure out, you know, what that actually looks like, you know, and I would try to get content that would actually resonate with them, that they're like, oh, okay, this is great. This is something I can communicate, you know, with, or, you know, this is how I can navigate if I go to the US or whatever. And that's what I would focus in on more than anything else. And so one great thing that you can do for education purposes is that you can use fair use, where you can put in some shows, take a clip, and then just kind of break it down, you know, of, you know, why they say certain things. You can go into that. That could be, you can break into those ways that it can help them learn the language even easier. So.
Okay. So I'll look into that more than with the fair use thing, but this has been great. I really appreciate that. This is very helpful.
But really deep dive into it, because it needs to be super easy for them to understand what they're getting, right? And what you need to do is, hey, you know, come on, like make sure that you're coming on the journey with me, right? And every day, every video, you're going to learn more about the English culture. You're going to learn more about the slang, more about the words. That's going to help you speak English better, you know, and that can be super fun. And I think it can be super engaging. And then really look at ways to just pull the whole Brazilian culture into it as well, because that's something that they're familiar with. And, you know, and then you can engage with that as well. So,
so I did get some advice to, advice to that, so that maybe I should create a second channel that is in English, still teaching English. That way I can hit a wider demographic, also within the United States and Spanish speakers.
Yeah, I would disagree with it. Like, the only reason why I would say that is because I understand what they're wanting. I think that you can provide that more in a membership, and that's where you can make some money on the tail end of it. You know, and I think it's just more getting the trust on this channel and helping them as possibly, but then you could have an organized curriculum that they can jump into that you might make a few reals. Okay. So a few bucks. Okay.
Or I guess the advice I was given was from Justin, so that I could do it, we make some dollars.
You can make some dollars too off of that as well. So
okay, cool. Well, I'm working right now on making a course so that I can sell it to get into your course.
There we go.
So I can be one of your upcoming students. But
yeah, we have another session starting in about a month. So yeah, we're just filling it up right now. Did you just interview with Justin?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. So I'm not finished yet with launching, but I'm trying to copy how you did your funnel. Just the things that I'm observing with you, I'm trying to follow them. The
copy
challenges.
The funnel. There you go.
So that I can do that. So it might not be ready in a month, but I want to try to get as much traction with the 30-day challenge too, so I can really be better educated and take better advantage of this when it's time. So.
Now, if there's any Americans in that you're familiar with around in your area, like do things with them, because if it's just a one-person show, it doesn't really show the interaction like you can. And so maybe have some guest people that come on and help you do things. And that way it's a little bit deeper than you just talking to the camera the whole time. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Now, well, good news is the fastest consuming country of YouTube is Brazil. So huge opportunity here. So I hope you just stick to that for now. Yeah, that's what I would do. In Portuguese for intermediate speakers. All right, in Portuguese, intermediate speakers. Got it. Thank you so much. My last question was, how is Justin's Portuguese when you talked to him? It was good. He did really good. I was actually really surprised. I didn't think not that most people that haven't been speaking it that often have a harder time. He did very good. He understood everything and spoke very fluidly too. Yeah, that's good. And then my son actually got his mission call. He's going just to Brazil. So that's going to be amazing. In a couple weeks. Yeah. So cool. Well, in July. But yeah. Very cool. He's going to love it. He's going to absolutely love it. Well, alriady. Go apply those things and hope to see you in Channel Jumpstart for sure. All right. Thank you too. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay. So look, basically, we're trying to give you answers of how to really digest your channels and who your audience is. And there's so many different ways to look at it. But the more that you speak to people, then it connects. And when it connects, then they want to watch, they become an active viewer. They subscribe and they're more engaged with it. So here is the thing. We're ready to take questions now. So if you have a question, go ahead and put your questions in here. I will take super chats first. We're going to do this for about, a few minutes. And if you have any questions you want to know, now is the time, because this is the question and answer period in this live stream. So let me see if we have one right here. Just going back a little bit. Hopefully this is helping you all. Okay. Here's the first question. Dudefish TV, what CTR percentage would you consider updating a thumbnail? Great question. One thing that I look at is, what is the normal click-through rate for a channel? And I try to figure out what that is for yours. So it could be 2% or 4% or 10% or 20%. Just figure out what you're at, what we call the average, okay, the baseline. And anything above that would be a better performer video, but you got to look at how many impressions that it has, because the more impressions that it have, you might have a lower click-through rate, and you might think, oh, well, then this isn't a high click-through rate and I need to change it. No, you get to say, okay, this had 1,000 views, had 10,000 impressions, and we had a 10%, click-through rate, which 10% of the people saw it, clicked and watched it. That's where it's at. So figure out your baselines, and then what you want to do is anything if it's below your baseline, you want to make sure that you redo that thumbnail or the title. And let me give you one word of caution on this. Don't look globally at your CTR. You have to dig into your traffic sources and look at where your traffic's coming from and the CTR, because there's a lot of people who see globally, oh, I'm only getting 6% click-through rate. But when you go deeper, they're getting more like a 12% click-through rate on browse feature or 12% on suggested videos. Okay, great question there. Okay, next, Christina Smallhorn. Thank you, Daryl, and to your Jumpstart program for getting my channel to 100,000 subscribers. Just hit it this morning. Congratulations. Like, if you can do it, anyone can do it, right, Christina? No, she has an awesome channel about real estate and, tiny homes and affordable homes. Is so awesome. I love her story because, there's a lot of people come to me. It's like, you can't get my niche to go on YouTube, and there's no one can do this. And when I met Christina way back when, it was doing a consult, and she applied my teaching that I teach in my 12-week mentoring program called Channel Jumpstart. She applied it, knocked it out of the park, and she's getting millions and millions of views off of her videos, which is awesome. But this is a big hoorah, because she gets one of these. Well, she doesn't get this one because that's a gold play button, but she'll get a silver play button, which is a really big deal. And I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see your picture, with it. It's super awesome. Okay. Hacksman, I went from 7,000 subs to 85,000 subs after reading your book. Hey, look at that. I won't take credit for it, but maybe I will. Okay. My channel was mixed of DIY and homesteading. DIY is what took off. Can I still do homesteading? Okay. So look, you got to understand what people want. So you might think that they're similar, but they're not, right? So what I would look at is look at the DIY portion of it. And you can still do homesteading and try it, but look at if the same people watch this video, watch your homesteading videos. It's something that you'd want to do 100% of the time. But for me, I want people predictably coming back and watching more. So I don't know if it's one or two videos that the DIY just took off and they're liking those, or are they going to want more of that? And, you got to kind of break it down. Now, the good news is it's really easy to define that. So what you do is go into analytics, and in the upper right-hand side, there's a link that says advanced mode. Click on that. And what you can do is actually group these videos together and start seeing what's actually happening. So you put all your DIY videos together, and you put all your homesteading videos together, and you can start seeing, is it a different audience? Where are they coming from? What the click-through rate is for those type of videos, and it should give you ideas for more. But for me, I would 100% give, like, if you're passionate about both, I give what the audience is wanting, because maybe they don't want the other tail end of it, or maybe you only do that once a month. I don't know. Like, you just have to look at your content strategy from there. I would recommend, checking out Channel Jumpstart. If you were able to succeed and get some stuff off the book, for $20 or whatever it was, Channel Jumpstart is like freaking amazing. I mentor you for 12 weeks, and it's so intense, and you learn the system that you kind of learned in the book. Which is really cool. Okay. Let me go to the next one. Thank you so much for that super chat. Next one, can external traffic retention hurt my performance on suggested and browse? I want to get traffic from TikTok, but I assume retention will be lower. Okay, great question. I get this one a lot. I'm very particular of where my traffic comes from. I want it to come as naturally as possible from YouTube, because then YouTube knows what's going on. Now, if you're getting traffic coming externally, YouTube has a traffic source that says external, and you're going to see the retention levels as if they're coming and watching that content. What I would do is, if that's a plan, I'd say, okay, this video is going to be really coming in from external. Okay, what I need to do is find a video that would be complementary to the video that I'm making that people would have to watch. So the people that got to the end, even though they're coming onto YouTube for the first time and watching your video, I want them to watch more than one video. Because if they watch that video and then bounce, that's not achieving with the goals of YouTube, what we had in the earlier section, which is keeping on the platform longer and longer. So if you're providing them the other video, they're now an active viewer because they watched 2 of your videos. And so it does not hurt retention, or I'm sorry, it doesn't hurt performance in suggested or browse. But if that's your number one traffic source, you know, you might not be performing well in browser suggestion, and they might come on and it could theoretically, and YouTube looks at it as traffic source. So it's like, it does its retention by traffic source. It doesn't collectively do it over the whole thing. But if you're bringing something in that only has like 20%, you know, average view percentage on your videos through the external, and the other ones are like 50, you got to focus in on the ones that are coming from browsing and suggestions. So I just deep dive in that advanced report, and you'll be able to see exactly what percentage numbers you're getting for that video. And then what I would do is make those assumptions on that as well. But for me, keep the traffic source. If you're bringing it from external, that's fine, but give them a video that they have to watch with the video that they're coming to hit. So they're actually going to watch 2 videos. So hopefully that made sense. It's kind of complicated trying to explain that into 3 minutes or whatever. All right, so the next one, thoughts on a faceless channel for women. Mine is faceless, but wonder if my female audience would connect more if I'd show the face. I can tell you 100% of the time that people connect to people. And I would 100% recommend that, unless you want to keep your anonymity. So there's a creator that has never shown his face. One is just blowing up right now. He's a gamer. His name's Dream. And it's kind of his stick. He doesn't need to show his face out there, and yet he's still able to perform very well in the gaming arena. However, there's something about, you know, people connecting with people through video. Emotionally, they're connected more if you're in front of the camera. But what I would do is test it out. Like, do like 4 videos and see if they perform better. Use your same type of content, but just be in front of the camera, and let's just see if they improve. And that might be something that you can see immediately, and then you can just adjust your strategy based off of that. So great question. Thank you for that. I have a list channel. Do you think putting timestamps of every part of the list will hurt my retention? It could be a great tool, but not for lists. So basically what he's asking about is chapters. You can do time codes, and it can take them in the videos. I don't necessarily like to do chapters unless it's a really, really long video where they can get to that section, you know, and then 2, chapters are also searchable in Google and also YouTube. So they might pull in whatever your chapter heading is and going from there. In listicle videos, I probably wouldn't do it because, you know, most people know, oh, here's 1 out of 10. They know that you have to get to 10 before they get the one that they really want. And so they're already programmed for that. And so I would kind of stay away from that if it was me on that. Great question from there. Next super chat coming here from Loving Literacy. How do I get data from an audience if the audience doesn't respond via social posts? I've tried posts and even video, but I'm not sure where I'm going wrong reading your book. Well, thank you first off for buying my book. Thank you so much. We got that. But I think that what we got to do is like make some hypothesis. And even though that they're not responding via comments, I'd go out and do in my book, just I think it's 16 is recon and research. But go through that chapter and deep dive into selecting some creators that are like you, or you have content that will be similar to yours, and start reading their comments, because that will give you a better understanding of who's actually watching their videos. Then you have a better understanding of who might be wanting to watch your videos. So that's what I would do. And sometimes it's difficult, but all we have to do is start with a hypothesis, and that's the best way to do it. If you don't have the data, you don't have the way to validate it, then I would go and find someone that has similar content. Okay. Great question there. Let me make sure I get all these super chats. Appreciate the super chats. Thank you so much for the support. Has YouTube ever gotten RPM wrong and not fixed it? Yes. Seen it wrong before. Look, it's if you look on your analytics, it says you're estimated, and it takes a while before they're able to validate the RPMs. And I've seen it time and time again, get it right spot on for what the estimation was. But it is an estimate until they process it through AdSense. And so unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. You get what you get, because that's what it means to be a partner with YouTube. So great question. Okay, here's another one coming in. Super chat. I have 85% male, and whenever I try to attract more female, it doesn't work. Should I create gentleman focused videos only, or change my entire channel? Well, it just depends on what you're wanting. You know, at the end of the day, you know, if you're creating content, you're growing, and it's going with a segmented market, then just understand that segmented market better and continue to release content. If you're thinking that magically you're going to get more views if you appeal to women as well, that's not necessarily the case. It's like YouTube's defining who is enjoying your content, and they're providing that for it, you know, for those viewers. But I found it just really depends. And I look at the ASMR channel, but you know, it's very heavily male focused on those ASMR. I don't know why that is, but just that's just kind of normally what it is. So I would really gear towards the people that are actually responding to your content right now, and try to anticipate that. If you want to pivot, depending on your size of your channel, you could start a second channel that would just focus in more on women, but you'd have to have more women leaning towards titles and thumbnails than it would for males, because YouTube's just going to look at the viewer. They don't necessarily look at male, female. It's just like, okay, here's their viewing patterns. Let's give that to them because that's what they're consuming right now. Okay, next one is, thanks for your reply, Daryl. Bought your book on Kindle and I'm finishing it. It's amazing. I will buy the paperback soon. Cheers from Spain. If you go to, let me show you this. We actually did this for those that are still looking. Here we go. If you go to ytformula.com, if you actually bought the Kindle version or you bought it on Amazon, you can still buy the supplemental material. You get the bonuses regardless. In the book, we have a bonus course. But if you want all the deep dive, everything that we've done for it, you just go to ytformula.com and just showcase that you actually bought it on Amazon. And we have, you know, some things that you can buy there as well, which is really, really good. Go back to that. Okay. Great question. Let me take a few more here. I stress about getting a new video out every other day because my views fall short. When I don't, it's like becoming a vicious cycle. I don't spend enough time on recon and research. What should I do? Okay, great question. So would I rather release a video every day that's mediocre, or every other day that's mediocre, or 3 times a week that it's just amazing content? So I would scale it back to 3 times a week or even weekly until you can get your rhythm down and just putting videos out that actually work. One of my favorite creators and a dear friend is Mark Rober. He only puts 1 video out a month and gets, you know, tens of millions of views every video, like 40, 50, 60 million views. You can't do it with less, but it's just like make amazing content. And if you can't do that every other day, then try 3 times a week, or try weekly, or twice a week. That's what I would do starting out. So very, very good. Okay, next one is a super chat. Adventures with Time. I just started a new channel about adventures, travels for older retired people. What can I put in my thumbnail to title to attract this audience? So I think it's more, if you are the same age as them, then it would be like retired couple goes to specific fill in the blank area, or does this. That's really interesting because people say, oh, retired couple, I want to see that. You know, it's going to resonate toward them. Or if it's an older demographic, that you're able to go from there. So I really would look at, you know, being spot on of what it is. And like, if that's what you are, a retired couple traveling the world, having experiences, that's what I would focus in on. And I would kind of position the video titles towards that, because that would make it more appealing. And then 2, it's more about the destination. So really focus in on the destination. And then if you're in the thumbnail, that could be great too, you know? So great question. Okay. Well, here is a question. Thoughts on video essay niche? Do you think it is a bright future on the platform? Listen, YouTube boxing channel, or Boxing Central. The only channel that I consume as a viewer consistently is Cold Fusion. Check them out. They're an essay channel here on YouTube. I love the channel a lot. It's just amazing. And it's one that I'm a fan of. And it's an essay channel, and they do blow up. And go look at their views. Go look at their subscriber count. It's great, you know. So great question there. All righty. Okay, next question. Hey, Mr. Eves, if I join Channel Jumpstart, would I have a lifetime chance to keep in touch with me? So here's the cool thing about Channel Jumpstart. For those that don't know, maybe I should pull this up here so you can see. I do this mentoring program, and let me pull in. Here we go. I do this mentoring program, and basically, I take people through 12 weeks of really understanding the platform and the process, the system, and it's great. Now the cool thing about it is we've had a lot of people get amazing results, like seriously, just amazing results. And what happens is for 8 weeks, you basically have training to do, and then I come on for group coaching for every week where I mentor you to understand the principles that I taught way in depth. We do that for 8 weeks. Then the last few weeks, you go into what my continuity program, which is the group coaching where we're able to connect. But once you come in as a Jumpstart student, we call you a Jumpstarter. Like you can stay in touch, in the community as long as it's online. So if it's online, you have access to it. You have access to me as well. And it's really cool. You'll love the community there. It's really an amazing community. We have quite a few Jumpstarters here on the call that are just crushing it. In fact, Christina that just got 100,000 subscribers, I think she had like, I don't know, 6,000 or something, or 10,000 when she first started, and she's crushing it now, which is awesome. Okay, next one. SEO, is it important? Is it that important? No, I think that what I would do when we talked about earlier about the AI is it follows the viewer. You want to do words that would respond really well with people, but you got to realize that if they really respond really well with people, they're just going to still respond really well in search engines because that's what people are typing in. And so I basically would look at that. But if I was to put energy and effort, I would say, what would make this headline or this title be more clickable from a human instead of trying to optimize it for for a robot, basically. So next one coming in from Nerdy Crafter, Jackie. Hello. Should I join Jumpstart? Absolutely, you should. You should go to channeljumpstart.com, apply. You'll get through the application process really quick because we've worked together before, which is awesome. But you should. It's by far the best thing that I've ever put out. It's really, really, really good. So, okay. Let's see. Here we go. Would you recommend starting with 5 to 12 search videos as a new YouTuber? Well, I don't know if you were on earlier. We start 2 channels a year. And I'll just pull this up because I think that would show you the results of that. I think that's just the easier way to do it. And the strategy is pretty sound. I don't like to, I don't like to really focus in on the wrong type of things, but let me show you this real quick. So, oh, that's the wrong one. Let me remove that and let me hit, sorry. Okay, let me get this other one up. Okay, here it is. Ready? Okay, so this is a brand new YouTube channel that we started this year. And the first video you can see right here at the very, very top got 72 views. We did it through search. We knew that it would be found in search. However, that's the only video that we did out of the first 5 that was search related driven. We did the 7th video was the next one that we did for search related, because what we wanted to do is make sure that the right people are seeing it, and we didn't like no one knew about the channel outside of the volume of search that was coming in, but we were trying to figure out what would be the next best video for them to watch. And you can see right here, this is video number 1 and this is video number 1. You see this boost right here? We're able to grow naturally. And YouTube's growing it for us, and that's the whole thing of what we actually teach in Channel Jumpstart is how to understand content, how to understand the algorithm, how to leverage an audience to grow. And that channel's exploding right now. And that's how we're able to do it every time. So get this next one. Is the channel Jumpstart something for very small YouTubers like me? I don't know. You'd have to go fill out the application. You can go to channeljumpstart.com, fill out your application. We just don't let anyone in. If it's not right for you, we'll tell you if it's not right for you. But we don't know. We've had people that didn't even have a channel that came in now have, a lot of subscribers, because they had a plan coming into it. Okay, let's get the next super chat going on here. Super chat from Ron. I'm in the home lawn care niche, focus on creating amazing golf course lawns. Ooh, I like that. I need to increase my reach while staying true to my existing audience. Starting Jumpstart at the end of the night. You're starting. I didn't know that you're a Jumpstarter, so you're coming into Channel Jumpstart. That's awesome. So basically, just work on seeing if you can find channels that would be similar to what you're doing. Like if it's lawn care for golf courses or landscaping, go deep dive into that. I would start watching and consuming content as a student. Go to those videos that have a whole bunch of views, maybe not a lot of subscribers, but a whole bunch of views, and start seeing what those videos are. Watching it as a student, like why did they do this? Why did they do that? That will help get you a little jumpstart before you come to Channel Jumpstart. But Ron, really excited to work with you and mentor you. So didn't know that you signed up. That's awesome. Okay. Here is. Okay. Hi, Daryl. What is the most suitable Facebook group for promoting our YouTube videos, please? And thanks. Great question. I personally do not like to promote videos in Facebook groups. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're wrong. And what I'm saying is you just got to be cautious, because some people will just do it out of curiosity, but they'll just jump over, watch 10 seconds, and they're gone. Some people will go out of support because they like you and you've engaged with you on Facebook, will go over and watch maybe half the video, but they won't watch the next video. They might even subscribe, but they won't watch the next video. So I'm very cautious of where my traffic comes in from. What I want to do is understand that when I put out a video, we have a high chance of it being seen. But we got to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders. We have a great title, great thumbnail. It's really, really engaging. That's what we're actually looking at. And so when you do that, I would focus in on maybe instead of trying to get it from a Facebook group, there might be a creator that would be willing to do a one-for-one collaboration where you put a video on your channel, they put a video on their channel, and you cross promote. Maybe that's the better answer to get more people to do that. I would definitely 100% look at that. And then two, if you are doing it in a Facebook group, like I would rather have you do it on Reddit. But you can't self-promote on Reddit, but you can actually be a part of these communities that exist. They're different than Facebook because they're really, really obsessed with a specific topic, where sometimes Facebook isn't. But I don't have any recommendations on that at all. Okay, let's go ahead and take two more. Your opinion on animated storytime videos based on essay on music from past memory, growing up on music and possibly talking to a visual aspect of music. Look, I actually do love storytime. I love storytime videos. I think they have depth, and I don't mean for kids. I mean, for adults. Like there's these channels and even TikTok videos that I watch as they tell a story in a minute. Those are really, really powerful, but you got to be able to pull them in on that content. I'm a big fan. I think I'm more essay documentary type person anyway. And that's where I actually do my, viewership for fun is usually in that, is like learning about something I didn't even know I needed to know, and some of those are really, really impactful. There's a lot of big, huge channels on YouTube that they do an essay with, and they do amazing storytelling verbally, and then visually it's all animated. So yeah, I think that you can really, really grow on that for sure. Okay, last one. I want to start a crypto advice channel. Can I learn from other big channels like BitBoy Crypto and translate it into other languages like Hindi for an Indian audience? What would work? Would it work? Question mark. Look, there's a lot of curiosity in crypto right now. You have ups and downs and sideways. First off, I would warn you to be very cautious of what you say, because I've seen a lot of crypto channels break terms of service of YouTube and get taken down. But if you're looking to expand into India, and if you want to do Hindu, like in India, you can definitely do that. Huge market there. one of the fastest growing places in the world. And then there's like this huge opportunity. I think it'd be great, but just be very, very cautious of not giving advice, because that's one of those things when you give advice of go buy this or whatever, then the red flags start to come up a little bit, and you got to be really cautious because YouTube has deleted a lot of channels. They've reached out to me, and it has to do with crypto. Okay. And Hybrid says this crypto market is dying at the moment since Elon on SNL. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's true. There's always ups and downs and sideways on the crypto world. I think it's pretty interesting there. So, guys, what I'm doing now is doing these live streams every other week or weekly. Really do appreciate you jumping on. Now, what I would like you to do is really go back through and apply some of the things that I've taught, like really understanding your audience, really engaging them in a way of knowing who they are, what their problems are, breaking down the demographics, psychographics, what they do online, what they do offline, and find how can you bring the most value to them. Go back to the slide that I shared with you of why people are coming on the platform. That's really, really powerful. And once you understand that and you're providing that value, that's when you can connect with an audience. And when I say you can grow on YouTube with tips and techniques, it's more about people than anything else. And people respond to certain type of content and certain type of delivery and certain type of thumbnails and certain type of titles. That's what we need to be obsessed with. And if you do that, I promise you, you will be successful on that. And I can tell you, the AI is smart, and they're getting more views. Like I look at just me as a viewer, they know exactly what I want to watch, and even when I didn't know I want to watch it, they do. And so super grateful for that. Guys, if you want more information about me, you can find all the information in the description below. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.